Making a video outside. Haven't done it for a little while. Still got a little trouble with my ears, but I think it's getting betterish. So that's, I think, good. Um, Otherwise, it's wet and dank and all that crap. But anyway, you don't need weather reports and health reports. You're saying, "What's the video today, Gary?" You're not saying that. I can. The echo really is annoying. See if I can get rid of it. Nope. Come on. Damn it. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a ton of videos, all horrible. It's just so discouraging. So, I mean, I'd like to just solicit, is there somebody out there willing to make rational arguments in video exchanges that isn't hypersensitive, that can take it? A little bit of asshole ain't gonna scare them off. And, somehow critique, the arguments being made here in some kind of rational manners. Make some kind of rational counter argument that life is purposeful and this is why, and some kind of explanations about why they can justify keep playing the game even though the game is going to create collateral damage. That people will be tormented for the sake of the game. That kind of thing. Because obviously none of these people can do any of that. But they've all gone just. These atheists are just horrible. I mean, you got these two kinds, right? These dumbass atheists who are just nihilist, selfish, small-minded, just gluttonous fat pigs. And then you got these atheists of the philosophical bent, the more Darwinian, the more understanding it from the basics, and they're just talking all this phantasmagorical crap. We got quantum will now. Somehow there's some sort of magical forces all over the place. You got Professor Anton doing that. You got Conference Report essentially doing that. And all his commenters, and warbles on a lot. Who's always never professed to be atheist. Well, overtly says he's converted atheist because he had a near-death experience that validated to him that some sort of magical, spiritual, whatever guidance is provided. But I mean, this is just all, And then Pyrrho, art is God, and we know aesthetics and art is just bullshit too. I mean, so we're supposed to consider that a female bird who's watching the male build a nest and judging the aesthetics of his construction is an art critic. There's something magical in that. That's God. No, that's just bullshit. And so that's sort of the Conference Report thing. He thinks that these idiotic associations we can make, like, you find a potato chip that looks like Richard Nixon. And so now there's an association between potato chip and Richard Nixon, and somehow those connections are meaningful and relevant, and somehow we should think there is some kind of meaning between these two. If we look underneath all the potato chips, maybe we'll find the Watergate papers, or something. No, they're just arbitrary and erroneous associations that happen by idiotic circumstance, coincidences, inevitable coincidences, and somehow those things are somehow meaningful. And the hard facts, the ones that reliably show up every day, are that's just stuff being stuff, and that's not, that doesn't mean anything. So we can ignore the the harsh reality, because we can always count on the magical perception of the whatever super purpose, the singularity, the accomplishment to end all accomplishments, or some other kind of bullshit. But anyway, it's just crap. And it's just so disappointing. The point is that it's my job, I suppose, to somehow try to force this error code out of the conversation, and this is just error code. This is just absolute crap, especially in the case of warbles. But these people talking about this quantum stuff. It's too very serious, this thing. She's got a lot invested in this, the magic bullet of the random quantum, which is more just complete nonsense science. I mean, the new scientists, they might as well just call themselves the new phantasmagoricals, because, this isn't science. Anyway, I mean, what the presumptions written in, they've just bought in stuff wholesale with no scrutiny whatsoever. So whatever some 30% of the physicists believe this, and so therefore we're just going to say that's what the truth is. You can't do that. That's just bullshit. These are not established facts, and it's just wrong. This whole idea that photons are communicating with each other above the speed of light, this is not fact. And it's also laughable because it's in a circumstance where people keep using words that have absolutely no meaning in the circumstance. So, they keep using the word observing photons. You cannot possibly observe a photon. You can't do it. You can't do it in any way we observe anything in the world. Because the observation is, you need catastrophic, you need substantial interference with a photon to know anything at all about it. To know it even exists, you have to nearly terminate it. And that's just a fact. You kill photons to see, okay? They terminate inside your eye. And that's the way you see photons. That's the way you observe in the classical sense of the word. And photons themselves, you can't throw a photon at a photon and then say, I saw it. No, you crashed it, you collided it, you interfered with it catastrophically, substantially. You threw a Volkswagen at a Volkswagen and then start telling me that you know what Volkswagens look like. No, you don't. You know what a car wreck looks like. Anyway, it's just, like I said, it's just, this is the one place you can't make emphatic statements like that, and then they go making them. Like somehow they could actually observe a photon, and those observations are legitimate, and they're completely illegitimate. These are not classical observations. They're tremendous interferences. Anyway, didn't really want to get into that. But I guess it's part of the point I'm making is that all this stuff, we have to find these key disagreements, these fundamental disagreements, because that's what it all hinges on. It hinges on the doors that other people have left open. Doors I might have rationally closed that they've left open. And that's where it all goes wrong, is in this one accepted truth, or accepted delusion, in my opinion. And that's what's got to be gleaned out of this interaction. So, like if it was it's like that. Like if it's a dating service, you submit your forms that profile you, that describe these are the elements of my existence, and you seek to find compatible elements in somebody else. And that's sort of the job of arguing, is to find the elements of disagreement and find resolution for those elements, or accept that there is no resolution, which I don't really accept. I mean, I think if you argue something enough, there's a winning. You'll either agree that you're both full of shit, or you can find out that one theory is better than another. The contested ideas don't have parallel credibility, and that can be at least recognized. So that's really the job here, is to profile your understanding of reality, spell it out, so we can find the points of contest and resolve them one way or another. And so when someone's going to tell me that the real meaning of life is art, I'm going to make an argument saying, no, that's the meaning of your emotional psychology. That's one of the elements your emotional psychology has been programmed to be stimulated by, but it isn't the essence of anything else. It's merely a holdover from a time when you needed overt signals to figure out what was good or bad. And now we're smarter than our art. We just are. And it's certainly not something that's going to tell us anything but what our prejudices are. And that's about all. It's something built out of erroneous and arbitrary connections. It's junk programming. And fine, wank to it, but don't call it the truth. That's just bullshit. It has no truth value. And conference reports idea that because we can mix things up, and through that mixing sometimes we can reveal an unseen truth because it gets our eye looking somewhere we wouldn't have thought to look. It can give us the idea to look in the cabinet under the fishing gear to find the murder weapon. It can give us a clue to where to look, and that sometimes those clues can be very helpful. It doesn't mean this is the way you do logical deduction. No, that's the way you fix the problem of writer's block or being stalled, is to come at it from a new angle, to keep changing your angle, and maybe you'll find the crack in the door that way. So it's just a way of just nothing more than like a paramecium, backing up 3 steps, spinning to the right 30 degrees, and then charging forward again. It's just a way of randomizing the approach, randomizing in a fake sense, so you might find a gap that will reveal some new pieces of real puzzle, and you can put those pieces of real puzzle into the puzzle and advance your understanding. So the value is incidental, it's consequential, it's not substantially relevant or substantially causal. And that's just, again, the error code, the randomizing code is not the real value code. The logic is still the value code. What gets you to, what creates the reboot. That's sort of another element of it, right? I mean, part of the problem becomes you walk too far down a path and you can't see the other paths anymore. And so sometimes you need something to push you back to the intersection so you can reevaluate again. So sometimes wrong paths are kind of blinding and they kind of suck you in. And sometimes you need something random to pop you into the realization that, oh, wait a minute, there was an intersection back there, and maybe this one has just deluded me. And maybe there was value on that other road. Maybe that's the real deal. Professor Einstein I've already dealt with. He's just making crap up. Magical forces of inspiration and motivation. When there's nothing magical about our biology, nothing magical about the billions of years it took to create us. And then Warbles is talking about souls and the sanctity of the fertilized being, and just talking baby talk, literally, and it's quoting babies. Talking about, the fetus dies in abortion. Well, guess what? The fetus is going to die anyway. If you don't abort it, it's going to die. That's what living things do. Newsflash, warbles, they die. And most of the time, for most humans, they just make a big fucking mess while they're alive. So this idea that it wouldn't be a good idea to get rid of that mess they make in the middle, you probably don't have much of an argument for, being that most human beings are shitting in their own water right now, and you would know that to be the truth. Why wouldn't you? Might as well get it over with before they can make the mess. So, but yeah, it's just silly to talk about the death of the fetus when you don't talk about the death of the wildebeest, who has 999% more cognitive capacity than the fucking fetus. I mean, it's just so idiotic to sit there in a world that's killing fully sentient, consciously engaged organisms every millisecond, and you're going to worry about a fetus that doesn't have the cognitive ability of a fucking pencil. Sorry, no sale. Not even close to a sale. And your silly distinctions about when something becomes human are just so easy to argue. They're completely arbitrary. The only thing meaningful about a baby being outside the mother's womb is she can't claim it's a parasite anymore. So she can't claim a first right to judge what to do with it. Because it's not invading her anymore. It's not on her property anymore. So now it's the society's job to decide what to do with the perpetrator, because it's not on her property anymore. And the fact that society says, oh, it's breathing air, therefore it's a human, is a silly standard. What makes me human is my active consciousness. Without it, I'm just a bunch of biological mass. Just a hunk of goddamn gristle and shit, and I might as well be a fucking clam without my goddamn brain. So, yeah, squish away. It's just silly to talk about this nonsense as if people are making something other than emotional, artistic, impressionistic associations and saying it's a baby, therefore it's something better than. No, if you actually look at its mechanics, it's something profoundly less than. It's less than a fucking trilobite. That's the fact. It's just bullshit. This whole emotionalism as philosophy. These poor associations, these idiotic associations, as disguising them as some sort of good judgment. That are nonsense and rubbish and childish, immature, nonsensical, fundamentally irrational, logically incoherent. Yeah, stop it. Stop being rationally incoherent and logically incoherent, because that's bad, okay? And such. Until next time. And such and whatnot and so forth. And that.